Hi there, Marcus here. In this video, I'm going to show an AI workflow that's mostly directed against actual content management systems, but it can also be used by uh, anyone who reviews text, basically. So the idea is this, that we want to make sure on our theoretical site here that we have inclusive language in the text that we create, right? So we want to create a workflow where maybe a junior editor, a journalist, or someone can, add a text, and then the system can figure out as the first screener, is this text inclusive? And either give that feedback back to the editor, or it can mark the content as it's not allowed to get published until a senior editor looks at this. So this is a workflow you could have in a CMS as Drupal, which is what you're seeing here. I will say also that this is running Drupal then, and it has the AI Interpolator modules on top of it. If you don't know what Drupal is or the AI Interpolator modules and you want to know how to install that, please just look in the description of the video. So there's going to be one video how to set up Drupal from scratch, one video how to set up the Interpolator suite of modules, and another video that basically explains what the AI interpolator is, what it's doing in the background, and so on. And also, this is open source, it's completely free. After you have looked at this, you can download it, set it up yourself, and set up whatever change you want. And on the website workflows of AI, you can of course find a lot more workflows. Anyway, so before I start actually setting this up, what I have is 2 articles set up. So I have a base Drupal, and this base Drupal has basically 2 articles set up. So one called All of Humankind, that's inclusive. In All of Humankind, we strive for the stars. The moon was just a start that introduced the space race. The people that were in charge of NASA at that time, we should probably write, were great astronauts, right? So very inclusive. Not as inclusive, and this is not a dig at the TV show, but mankind is a word that's not inclusive, right? So all of mankind, in all our mankind we strive for the stars. The moon was just a start that grandfathered in the space race. Grandfathered, another non-inclusive word. The old geezers, ageist, that was running the program back then was real boomers, ageist, right? So now we're gonna set up this thing where it analyzes this. So we click login. We just log in. As I said, we have an article content type that has an article in it. We're just gonna create a new field. In this case, it's gonna be, we take text plain long, because the reasoning for it might need more than the 255 characters that a short one is. And we call this reasons of reaction, like reasons of reaction. This should create unlimited field, because there can be unlimited reasons of reactions. And then on this, we just enable the AI interpolator. We're going to use the rule OpenAI string long. So this takes any text and produces non-formatted text from this. We're going to use the article as the context, and then I already have a prompt here because it's pretty long. And of course here you have to define your sensibilities. You can make it even more complex, that especially if the article is based on HTML text, they can look for quotes, and you can write that the language of the article should be sensible, but the quotes inclusive, but the quotes doesn't necessarily have to be this, because if you write about article about someone who uses a language that's not inclusive, you should still of course actually write their quotes, right? But in this case, I'm not going to make it that complex. So what I have is based on the context. If there's any reason for the context text to not be inclusive towards genders, the LGBTQ community, physically disabled persons, a person's age, or minorities, list as many of those reasons as you can. If not, respond inclusive text. And then it uses the context of the article then. And in advanced settings, we're gonna change this to batch. So we see progress. We're just gonna run it in the GUI right now. We set GPT-4 because it's better at analyzing text, and we can wait in this case. And we can say that it has a role that you are an inclusive language consultant analyzing text for non-inclusive, I guess you say, language. It's important we have OpenAI moderation on in this case because what this does is basically it checks against OpenAI and asks this beforehand, hey, can I ask you AI this question? And if this has things that breaks the terms and services of OpenAI, you of course don't want to send it, because then you could lose your access to OpenAI. And that's extra important here, because it might, if you have a reason to think that texts are not inclusive, it might be because they are very abusive or racist or sexist, right? Which is sometimes things that OpenAI just don't tolerate. So we're gonna go back now to our two articles here. So if I reload, I'm gonna have edit here. So we can start with this all of humankind, the inclusive text, and hopefully this should say nothing. So if we go back also to edits, there's no reasons of reaction. So this could be published now. If we go to our all of mankind text and save it, this should hopefully now then, if we go back to edit, give some reasons of reaction. So mankind, grandfather, old geezers, boomers, exactly what I tried to put in there to be non-inclusive language. Yeah, so this is a way where you can have AI analyze your content and make sure it's inclusive, that you can set up on your, well, you can set it up on your application because you can use Drupal as a API, but Drupal is a very good product, especially for editors or people that works with content. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching.